Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my podcast. Today, we have a young politician from Albania, a girl that I have been looking in her social media since a long time, since the moment she was active in political parties in Albania. Her name is Barbara Doda. Hello, Barbara.
Hello, Eugene.
Thank you for
It's a
coming.
pleasure. No, it's completely my pleasure. Thank you for having me. I was also looking forward to it.
Thank you very much. Barbara, you are now podcasted. This two first months of 2025 are mostly focused on young politicians in their country and the reasons why do they get involved. So I would like to ask you as well, why did you decide to enter into politics?
Um, Politics has been what has been driving me. Let's say it's the reason, um, in a way, that I wake up every day. I love doing politics. And even when I was a small kid, I always had leadership. Even in kindergarten, I wanted to lead the other kids, the school projects later and everything. I think it comes naturally. But then doing politics for me became also a way to contribute. I thought that by doing politics, it would be my way to contribute for the country and for what's good, or what I believe it's good, at least.
Okay. And you started in a very early age or during your
Yeah.
studies at the university?
No, I started a bit earlier than that, joining the youth forums. I've always been very interested in, let's say, different organizations as well. When it came to EU enlargement, and I tried also to do something for myself, to do something more, to get more trained, more. I wanted to learn. I wanted to develop, let's say. Uh, like all my European peers. I wanted to be at their level, so that's why I invested a lot in trainings, in reading, in traveling, in studying, and so on. So that's how I started in the beginning. I joined the Barbara, which is the youth organization of DP, because my family taught me so in the beginning. I come from a persecuted family, and it was a rule, a literal rule for us to go to DP. And I thought that I'd do my part in it. I stayed for a long time in DP, but to be honest, I was never kind of fully in, because there was something that I felt wrong, let's say, in me being there. I couldn't find my people, or a group of people that wanted to act as youngsters. And I believe that being young means also being rebel, and being cool, and being different, and not being like the old people, not the same old, same old.
Okay. But you were a rebel on the right side of the politics. You were not on the left side because usually that's the way it
Yeah,
works.
yeah, but for me, it's not about left and right. It's about being young at any age, having that kind of spirit. It doesn't mean that you are a left and you are a rebel. No. Also, the right wing, even though they're called conservatives, it's not true. It has changed and adapted towards time. Change is always good, especially in parties that have been created after the fall of communism. That's the only way of survival that we know. Change.
Okay. And
And I don't know, I've seen it also before, that people have this concept about youngsters being in winged parties, that they also should be like very serious, very conservative, very in the bottle. It's not true. I've been abroad, I've seen other youngsters, what they do in their parties. They're different. They smell fresh. That's something that everybody needs, every party needs, no matter what's the side.
yeah, it's true. I agree with you, and I think. Well, I don't know how much did you follow the European elections, and me, as I live in Belgium, a couple of days ago we had the creation of the federal government in Belgium, and we have a very young boys and girls also as a minister. I was just reading 27-year-old minister in the Belgian government, and 24 years old and 23, if I'm not mistaken, members of the federal parliament. So parties are investing a lot in the youth. But do you think that in Albania, political parties really invest in youth, or is it kind of on marketing?
There's like a very slight difference between them. So basically, there's a rope in between of being a youngster in a political party and being used by a political party. And that rope, you jump it all the time. So sometimes they're going to use you, sometimes you're going to be young. The thing is that you have to have really strong values in order to stay true in this kind of system where youngsters are mostly being used. I've been in that position myself. I told you that's a jump you take from each side. I've worked tremendously to stay true and focused and show my values and my beliefs. But I have also a very strong character. Not everybody has it. I also got used to being a very tough family, being from the north of Albania with a very strict dad, strict brother. I had to fight first of all with them to become who I am now. To become free, to become modern, and everything else, to achieve my goals. It hasn't been easy because I hadn't had that kind of support. But as I told you, if one is true to themselves, if one person has values, I think they can find a way to not be used in politics. But for those youngsters who usually try to repeat what the leader of the party says, I fear there's no going back. They're
Okay.
just not going to make an impact.
Okay. And so now you are part of a new right-wing political party in Albania, Mundësia Opportunity, if we translate it in English.
Yeah, we call it Mundësia, also in English, Mundësia Party.
Yeah, but I mean, if we translate it as a
Yeah,
word,
it's opportunity.
opportunity, and you are a co-founder of the political
Yeah,
party?
I'm the co-founder of Mundësia.
Okay. And what opportunities do you give for the young politicians in Albania?
Yeah. First of all, it's not that we have a special politics or policy for youngsters, because our party is fully maintained and fully created by young people. We are all young. So I cannot tell you now that we have a certain policy for them, but I can tell you that what we think is what every Albanian needs. They need more opportunities. They need for the government to not be their obstacle, but to be in their help, by their side, to take their side, to take the side of the person who is right, not the person who is rich, and there's a difference. I'm proud about what we have achieved now in Mundësia, because we are in a party where now I don't even see them as coordinators of the party or founders of the party. I see them as my friends and my group, and they're amazing people, young. Most of them have their own businesses. They don't even need the party or the government. They just want to do good for the country, and they want to give their contribute in the country. So I'm really proud of the team that we have, especially for me in the city of Tirana, in the whole region, basically, because I have 16 coordinators, where 12 of them are businessmen and 14 of them have never been in politics before. And
Okay.
that come to me in the beginning. They would come in the beginning and say, "Oh, I don't have any experience in politics. Do you think that's going to be a problem?" And I told them the truth. I told them it's better to not have any experience in politics than to have the wrong experience in politics. So now they have a chance to really build something new by themselves without being impacted or influenced by what has happened in other parties, but to create something fresh.
Okay. and Albania is entering into a political election campaign period. How do you see it? Has something changed in the last 30 years, or do you see the same structure of the political parties?
About this question, when I was now in Italy, because I did organizational meetings there, I had this 60 years old Albanian man that had left the country in the early 90s. And when I was speaking, he told me, please excuse me, because I haven't followed politics much now. So I'm not very into what has happened. And I said, don't worry, because in the past 34 years that you have been abroad, Albania is like you left it, with the same politicians, with the same issues. So don't worry, you haven't missed out. You didn't miss out. And sometimes I feel like that, we have done a great change when we compare ourselves to communism. We have done a great change. My parents, both persecuted, did not even imagine growing up that they'd own a house or an apartment. Now they do. Their life has improved. But the thing is, I want my life to be improved also when you compare it to a European Union country. I want to be like them, like my peers there. Not just better than my parents were in communism. I want to be now like all the youngsters are all over Europe, with the same rights, with the same opportunities. And that's how everybody can make it. Everybody has to make it.
Okay. And because you mentioned business.
Just one thing, I'm sorry,
Apologies.
because you said now that soon we're going to enter the campaign period. I don't think for our party there's going to be a campaign period, because since we started with the party, we had to be campaigning, because we had to build structures from the scratch. We had to meet people. We have to create everything. So we were campaigning basically. It's going to be more intense now, but for us, it has started a long time ago, since the day we created the party.
Okay, since day one. But what I was talking about is that I was also never living in Albania. Like, I never lived in Albania in my life. I just visited Albania, and I have learned about the history of Albania from family, friends, and mostly from the TV. So, as you said, your party is created from businessmen. To me, it's a very problematic, let's say, that I used to watch documentaries about the Communist Party, and they had, these propaganda movies about industry that they created, farming that they had, and new cars for the time. I don't know. And today I see the government party, what we said is a descendant of that Communist Party, that they only promote tourism, they only promote halfway projects. They don't have this business oriented. And sometimes I have a feeling that communists were more business oriented than capitalists, if we can say it like that.
They're not kept. I mean, I believe in capitalism. I love capitalism. Like my phone is a proof of capitalism. I love what capitalism has done. I love it, absolutely, because it has improved the lives of many. Like, we live a good life now because of capitalism. And when you mentioned communism now, you know what amazes me also in Albania, because we have this communist mentality still. We expect from the government. We expect from the government to make the economy great. We expect from the government to make our lives better. The government, the government, the government. That's really communist. I believe that Albania, and Albanian, especially Albanian people, will only get rich by themselves. Any party that will tell you, hey, I will make you rich, probably the party is lying. The party
I
is
totally
lying,
agree
because the
with you.
parties and the government can never make you rich. When governments try to make you rich, they're going to make it worse, because they cannot achieve that. Only a free market, only freedom, financially especially, can make us rich. We just don't want the government to be an obstacle. That's it. And I feel like in Albania until now, the government has been an obstacle. For example, now that you mentioned tourism, you know how it works? now for the government. Let's say me and you own a piece of land in the south of Albania. Okay, we're next to one another. So the government will decide in which land is going to build a resort and which land is going to turn into a park. And you know how they do it? They give the resort to the one they have the ties with, where they can probably
To their
get money
closest
back
friend.
from it. And the other piece of land, they just don't care. And
Yeah.
that's how it works in Albania. It's not about who has the best idea. It's not about who has the best skills. It's not about who can make it. It's about who the government decides to win.
Yeah. I see, like, and what I don't like with the tourism is like the Socialist Party is turning Albania to a restaurant, the whole country. Like, doesn't create innovation, doesn't create business. It's just a money laundry scheme, and puts all the
Absolutely.
young people to work as a waiter or chefs in those restaurants, and it
Yeah,
doesn't give anything. At the end of the day, it doesn't give anything.
it's true. Here I agree with you. And I also had this debate some days ago because I heard somebody, saying that Albania, we should produce more. We should produce more. And I was like, what should we produce more? And they told me we should produce more vegetables, more fruits to export. I was like, in which century we're living right now? In a century where people are thinking only about innovation, we are still stuck at the tomatoes.
Yeah, like the common,
Yeah,
like the
people are
common.
still
Yeah.
stuck in tomatoes. I was like, move from that, because we have to move forward. And people think we are a rich country. Even if we are rich, we're a really small country. Having a small country means having little resources. The only way we can get rich, I think, it's through innovation and through a free market, where
In
people can do
businesses, yeah.
business, can earn money, can trade, can do anything they want without the government
Well, I
stopping
will
them.
agree a little bit with that person who said for the tomatoes that Albania has to make more exports and has to be more productive, because the fields of Albania are not active at all, I think,
Yeah.
except from planting cannabis with the blessing of the socialist government. But I totally agree with you. Like, Albania has
But
to, not
I
only
also
Albania,
don't
the whole
agree with.
region has to be more business oriented than just
But
waiting
that's
from
the
the
thing,
European Union to help.
we are a really small country. For example, even in the Balkans, you cannot compare to Serbia when it comes in this industry. They are already more advanced than us. They have more land than us. They have a bigger market, let's say,
Yeah,
than us. We don't. But we have to be wiser, And I see that Albanians are ambitious. I see also when they go abroad. I see how they think. They want to make it. So, in this sense, I believe, for example, that we should not be stuck in the past. If a certain industry did not make us rich, I think it's time to move on into a new industry.
indeed. Indeed. And how do you see Albania into the European Union? Do you see that it's going to enter by the day that the Prime Minister is promoting all the time, or do you think it's still a
No,
lot of work to be done?
look, as I mentioned before, also when I started doing politics, I started first with organizations that were based in Europe, for example, European Democracy Youth Network. I worked with IRI, the International Republican Institute, with NDI as well. And I worked closely in many projects that we had with those organizations. In every meeting that I had in Brussels or anywhere where the European Union institutions are, I understood that that's not going to happen anytime soon. Not because it hasn't happened for other countries, but because that's the exact reason the European Union thinks that accelerating, let's say, the process for certain countries has damaged the European Union more. So they are not willing to do that again, first of all. Second of all, I think we are anywhere near joining the EU because the corruption is sky high. We have been stuck without moving any step forward for years now. We have problems with the government, with people that have been, let's say, part of the government in high positions, right now in prison. We know how the government is working along with the oligarchs. So I don't think a country such as ours can join the EU now. You
Okay.
mentioned it very well. If there's one thing that the Socialist Party has taken from the communist era, is propaganda. They
And very
can
well organized.
fool, yeah, they can fool people and promise them something that it's not gonna. I also wish that it would happen now, because I feel like also youngsters like me or young people deserve it. We have moved forward. We're not like the old generation. But the thing is, because of the politicians that run this country, I don't see it happening. For me, it's unfortunate. But
Okay.
still, Eugene, we have to say something, because in Albania and in Macedonia, in the Western Balkans, the Euroscepticism is rising. And I don't think that's fair, because even during this period, we've had a lot of help from European Union, and also the negotiations that we are doing. It's not only about them, it's about us. We have to be improved. At the end, it's going to serve us. I don't know why people have started thinking that, oh, we're doing so much for the European Union. We are not. Everything we do should be for us. We should be at that level. I don't know
Okay.
if you understood what I
Yeah,
said.
sure. I understood that you're saying that Albania has to be in the right level or to
Yeah,
enter
absolutely.
into EU, and it's still not there. And that's what I also believe, that Albania has a very beautiful facade.
Yeah.
I have many friends who visit Albania, and it's a beautiful country, even for tourism that we spoke about. It's very beautiful seaside, very beautiful mountains. But if you go on a day-to-day life, you see the difficulties that people are facing there. And here is where I would like to come to ask you, because except of a politician, you're also an architect. And Albania's construction is, reading the news, the main core of its economy. How easy is for you to work as an architect, and do you get innovative projects, or do you get only something small like villas and interior
No, the
designs?
thing
Like,
is,
I was very curious
so
to listen this.
especially in Tirana, but now also in the south, we are building a lot. But it doesn't mean that building skyscrapers, it's a development. It's not like that. I think most of it has been money laundry.
Yeah, exactly. If
It's
I may
not
say, like
sustainable.
empty skyscrapers, because if they were
Yeah,
in use, maybe they would have been good,
absolutely.
but they are
I
empty.
think people really confuse it. They think that they see a skyscraper built, they think that probably the country is growing. No, it's not. It's more dirty money coming in the country and getting laundered. Okay, so I feel really sad for it. As an architect, I I really love my profession. It has made me independent, has made me really strong, has made me not needing somebody else's help. And it's a beautiful profession. Sometimes I feel like doing politics, I haven't been able to dedicate myself to my profession fully. And of course, I feel sad about leaving that a little behind. I love all the projects that I did, but no, I never took big projects. Mostly I worked on interior design, and I love doing interior design. I love doing decoration, because I'm also very keen into arts. So I paint, I do pottery. Um, Anything that I can do it with my own hands, I can do it. Believe me. I learned how to do sculptures as well, and I think that I've been, let's say, I feel like I'm one of the God's favorites, because He gave me a gift in arts. I think it's a beautiful thing. And I'm telling you, if it was about competing against Rama in painting, I would so beat him. But
Yeah, maybe you should open
unfortunately,
a competition. I guess he's very afraid of everything.
yeah, I, I mean, it was just a joke, but I always say that in painting, I'd for sure beat him, fair and square. In elections, he has more money and more power, so it will be hard.
Okay. And yeah, as you mentioned, as an artist, how easy is for an Albanian artist to work in his own field, even as a painter, even as a musician, even if, as an actor? Is
Yeah,
it easy, or
I
is
mean,
it
in
he
a
has to
country,
do something extra to earn money?
yeah, but in a country where there's no cash flow, it's absolutely hard to do anything. Not only arts, but anything you can think of. Uh, the cost of living in Albania are so high that people cannot even afford certain products. When it comes to food, art, it's definitely something they cannot afford, and most artists are struggling. Even in our party now, we have a young guy that he moved to Czechia. He moved there and he is working there as an artist, and he's a really good one. But in Albania, he could not even survive. It's really common in poor countries. It's common that artists do not find their footing. I've done art as a passion, not as a job, because I knew it that I couldn't survive with it. With architecture, it's somehow somewhat different, but with art, I feel like there's no chance. Now with the social media, though, coming forward, I think that also artists have found a new platform to promote themselves, which is good. I really love that for them.
Okay. But about art and sports, because I think also sport is not very common in Albania. I mean, we have football, but what are the other sports? It's a bit controversial because Edi Rama, the prime minister, he is an artist and a basketball player. And I was expecting that at least these two fields would have been thriving in Albania. But it doesn't seem that he has been really active on investing in them, right? Or is it my view?
No, no, but I think he has made it harder for youngsters to follow their passions. This is how I feel like. Even yesterday, I was in a TV show and they were talking about sidewalks as a problem for youngsters, or I don't know what else they said. But I feel that young people are leaving even before going to universities here, or even trying to have a chance here. They leave as soon as they can. Some leave in high school. Some leave just after high school. Some leave in the first year of the university or after finishing university for their masters. But people tend to leave because even if they tried, they would understand what most people know, that things are mostly decided. Opportunities are only given to certain people who are related to the government. If you hear, and I don't deny that there are also some, let's say, times where people can make it by themselves without the help of the government, but believe me, that's the exception. That's not the standard. Most people cannot make, most youngsters cannot make it without being part of the government.
Okay. And closing this interview, I would like to ask you, you as a young person, why did you decide to live in Albania and not to go outside, have a job as an architect in a more developed country, and maybe have a better architectural
Yeah,
profession than being in Albania?
it's true because if I wanted to do my job as an architect, I could be anywhere else in the world right now, as I've done it before. That I've worked and traveled at the same time because I take my laptop with me anywhere and I can work from everywhere. But the thing is, I wanted more than that. I wanted to do politics. I wanted to be in my country. I wanted to give my contribution. I still want to make a change, and I believe I can make that change. But to make that change, I have to be in Albania. I have to work hard for it. It's what I'm doing now. Believe me, there are a lot of sacrifices that I'm doing right now in order to do politics. Also, sacrificing what I love. It's not easy. Leaving behind my family, architecture, my love life, friends, everything I have to leave behind because I want to build something good for the country and building a new party that can become the next first, it can become the next opposition and later can become the government we always wanted. I think is the right thing, and I'm willing to do that sacrifice.
Okay. Well, it's very beautiful to hear this from a young girl, young politician, that she's doing everything for her country. And I'm really giving you a big bravo for all the patience that you have and all the work that you are doing.
Yeah.
And I would really like to thank you for coming to my podcast. And I would like to wish you all the best with the elections and the project that you have in your life. And I hope that even after the elections, we can have again a podcast to see how things went and what we would expect from the
Yeah, I
next 4
think
years.
I think we'll do everything it takes. We will work hard to achieve the best result. But I believe that these are only the first elections, and we have way more to go. And by the way, Eugene, I really love the "You Are Now" podcast. It's,
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
thank you.
Thank you, everyone. This was my podcast. Follow us on our social media and see you next week. Goodbye.